All right, what's up, my indigenous people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Before we get started today, I just want to let you guys know I made some shirts. I'll leave the link down in the bottom below. If you guys are interested, it's also going to be in my channel banner. If not, it's cool. No worries. In the last video, we talked about decolonization, and I had a few people reach out saying they wanted me to discuss and go over more family in Navajo society. And I kind of touched on that in the last video, and I told you guys it was really important, and it's probably one of the most important, aspects of Navajo society. And I'm just gonna get into that today, and we'll go from there. I'll probably tell a few personal stories and just a few ideas, and give you guys a background of what family looks like and why it may be so big, or why it may be a little bit different from mainstream Western society. So I guess to first start, what we have to understand about Navajo society and Navajo families are it's a matrilineal society. That means women are very important, and women are not second class citizens in Navajo society, or at least not traditionally. Some will argue today that may be changing. That's why we're going to decolonize, right? Anyway, so Navajo society is matrilineal. It goes back to mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers. They're typically, the decision makers in family. They're typically the leaders. And I mean, it may not, see it on the front part of it, things, but on the back, they're usually the ones making the big decisions, telling the men, the fathers, the grandfathers what to do, why they think it's important, and their decisions and opinions are just as important, if not more important, than the male opinion. So, getting into the whole matrilineal side of things, something to bring up is one of the most important deities that Navajos have in their society is, Changing Woman, or White Shell Woman, who is considered the mother of all Navajos, the bringer of clans. And then we also have Spider Woman, who is, she's a very important deity as well. She helped us create, weaving and stuff like that. And she helped the twins in their journey, which is really awesome. With that being in our mythology, that being within our traditional stories and culture, that carries on to our society and our family relations. And that's where grandmothers, mothers, they become so important. They teach the kids everything growing up. They're the ones in charge of the kids when they're younger. They instill the values in them, they instill the culture in them, they instill the stories, all while bringing them up and being caregivers, and teaching these kids how to be strong, teaching these kids how to think and see in a traditional way. And then I guess beyond that, we also have, let me get into a personal story before I go on. So a personal story, I guess an example of why, or what matriarch will look like in a Navajo family is my great grandma. She's the top dog in my family. My great grandpa's right up there next to her. It's like, they're equal, but more people in my family listen to my great grandma because, she's more level headed, very wise woman, very smart, very strong, and she's the embodiment to me of what a Navajo woman is. She's strong, she's passionate, she's caring, she's loving, and she taught me, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, so many different things traditionally. And she was actually a weaver. Unfortunately, I didn't pick that up. I wish I did. That's one of my biggest regrets. Maybe someday I will. If anyone out there can teach me how to weave, that'd be great. Besides that, she was, in my eyes, the embodiment of traditional Navajo lifestyle, traditional Navajo, thinking mentality and just the way life should be. So many stories of her just being her. There's one story my uncle told me that one time, I don't remember if it was a deer or a sheep, but it got hit by a car just a little ways down the road from where my great grandparents lived. This is when my uncle was a teenager, I believe. And my grandma, without hesitation, my great grandma, she ran down to the middle of the road with a butchering knife and just started filleting that animal and just yelling at the grandkids, "Get over here, come get this meat before the meat goes bad." And that's a tough woman right there. That's just shows you how tough the women are in Navajo society, and you gotta respect that. You gotta love that. I love traditional Navajo women, and I love traditional Navajo society and philosophy, and it's just the whole mindset is different from people from back then. They were tougher. They're just the embodiment of who we used to be, and who I hope one day we can go back to. Besides that, that's kind of the whole matriarch of it all. She makes the decisions. Hey, if we need a ceremony, she's usually the one that's the final decision maker on that. Like, yeah, let's get one. Let's get everyone here, and what she says goes. And then, my great grandpa, I'm not like, he's also there. He's also a decision maker. He's just as important. And there's other stories about my great grandma, but he'll be the secondary deciding factor. He'll be like, yeah, she's right. Let's do it. And then they'll work together and make the family work, make it stronger, make it more cohesive. And I guess a good example of that is, when my great grandparents were younger and my regular grandparents were also children. So my great grandparents just had all their kids. My great grandpa would, get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, winter days, summer days, any day, and he would hitchhike, about 2 miles to the main road, because they lived off in a very rural area. There's literally no address, no mailbox, none of that. For my Navajo people and for my non-Navajo people that live in rural areas, you know what I mean. It's out there in the boonies. And he would walk, 2 miles with a big ass chainsaw lugged on his back. Sometimes he would have 2, and he'd just walk, wait to get to the main road, wait for a wagon, wait for a car, whatever they had back then, to pick him up, to take him to, the work site that the trading post was usually the one supplying our Navajo men with. They get him in contact with Billiganas and other companies and just stuff like that. White people that came onto the res that wanted to take advantage of our resources and stuff like that. And anyway, he would go there, get picked up, and he'd be going to work for maybe a week, few days, come back with a small paycheck. He'd be working for 3 days, probably have a few hours of sleep, get some food provided, but not a lot. And 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, and he'd come back with like a small paycheck. I'm sure it wasn't even $100 back then. Maybe it was. And then he would go to the trading post, buy some food, bring it back to his family. And that whole time, my great grandma was taking care of all of her kids, at home, teaching them how to sheep herd and cook and clean. And she was teaching them these life lessons and bringing them up. And I'm pretty sure that was like before a lot of my grandparents were forced to go to boarding school, or even like winters when they would come back from boarding school. So, that's kind of what it looked like. That was the dynamic of at least my family. I can't speak for everyone else's. Everyone's family is different, and that's kind of what it looked like. That was my family dynamic. And I guess just to get more in depth, to talk more about that stuff, something that you could bring up also is the different roles. Like, Navajo families are huge. It's more than just mom, dad, brothers, sisters. It's the whole family. Every single person is just as important as your mom and dad. So we have aunts, we have uncles that, play those roles. They step in for your mom and dad if they're not there. Great examples of that is when I was growing up, my mom and dad got a divorce, and my uncles, both of them stepped in as father figures, and they taught me some very valuable lessons. And I appreciate that today, love and respect them, and I appreciate everything they've done. So it's more than just extended and immediate family. Like, family is family in Navajo culture. They say it takes a village to raise one kid, and that's absolutely true in Navajo culture. They utilize every single person, and it's more matrilineal. You see more of the kids having closer connections with the mother side of families, but if both sides of the family are really cool, especially in modern times, both sides of the family will step in and help each other and just work together and be close. And that's something that's really beautiful in Navajo society, just how close family is. I had great grandparents, aunts, and uncles that, to me, they were all immediate. My grandma's sister, my immediate grandma's sister, is just my grandma. It's not my great aunt or my grandma's sister. It's my grandma. And then their kids are my aunts and uncles, and even though we go without seeing each other, they play the same role. They step in as a temporary mother figure, as a temporary father figure, and that kinship, that bond is still there. And that's what makes family so important is, no matter what, you can go back and you can rely on them and you can seek their help. That's why family is probably the most important system in Navajo society. It's what got us through all the tragedies that we got through in the past. It's what got us through all the tragedies that we're getting through today. And it's what's helping us get through, COVID and this pandemic. Without it, without the support of our family, without kind words, without a phone call from, my grandma, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, I'd probably be really depressed. And I'm sure a lot of you would be in the same boat. So family is really important. It's going to help us in the future as well. So, with that being said, I hope this is the video you guys were wanting. If you guys want more, I'll do a part 2 kind of discussing the familiar roles and stuff like that. Like, I guess a little preview of that is, how uncles teach younger boys to sing traditional songs and stuff like that, or how aunts kind of step in and teach females and males some important things like butchering and stuff like that. So if you do want some of that, give me a few likes, give me a few comments, let me know. We can do a part 2 of a more traditional side with less stories from my own personal life, and we could get into that, make it more informational. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys watched all the way through. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and please let me know what you want to see next. If not, I got something good coming. Have a good day, stay safe, and remember, family's important. So go out, thank them, tell them you love them, give them a call, and remind them that we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna come out stronger, and we're gonna be better next year. Actually, this year, 2021. Have a good day.